The story of Kennedy and Trump has changed the course of history forever. August 23, 2024 will forever be known as the day we turned the corner and took back our great nation and changed the course of history and brought hope to a free world. Join me as we relive the strange relationship between Kennedy and Trump, leading to their return to the White House to make America healthy and great again. I spent 2 years following the Kennedy and Trump campaigns. Long before the two men ever considered running for president, Kennedy sued Trump and stopped him from building a golf course near the Hudson River. After Trump won the presidency in 2016, he recruited Kennedy to look into vaccine safety issues. Kennedy was forced out the door after clashing with a man by the name of Anthony Fauci. But the assassination attempt on President Trump's life brought Kennedy and Trump closer than ever. From rivals to collaborators, from foes to friends, this is the story of Kennedy and Trump. You can download the book for free right now by going to kennedyandtrump.com. That's kennedyandtrump.com. My name is Greg Fernandez Jr. God bless you all. And it has been an amazing journey so far. Had I have known that Charlie Kirk was such a big part of the MAGA and the Maha movement coming together, well, I would have put that in the book for sure. But we are celebrating freedom. We are celebrating a great day in our nation. And we are hopefully one day closer to the book being out on global distribution. Of course, you can buy it right now, as that person just said, person by the name of Greg Fernandez Jr. If you do want to buy the book, you can. If you just want to download it for free, you can also do that too. So hopefully you will take me up on that offer and hopefully enjoy it as much as I have been enjoying it and enjoying reading it. Even after 2 years here. And the book, now that I'm looking at it and contemplating a sequel for 2028, can clearly see that this is just the beginning. What was supposed to be a nice little tail ending, wrapping it up, is just the beginning of the story of Kennedy and Trump. So I'm already formulating different parts of the second book as we wind down, because we are winding down here as we read through the book Kennedy and Trump together. So thank you all very much for taking the time to watch this, to rewatch this, to listen to this. If you're listening to this on a podcast version, I really appreciate it, and I hope that you will consider reading the book Kennedy and Trump. To me, it's a very important book, a very important time in our history, but one of the most important times in our nation's history, I believe, up until this day, right now, including today. All right, so let's go ahead and continue where we left off here. We are now on page 122 of the PDF, page 114 of the actual book here, Debating Kamala. You know, this is going to be fun. This is going to be a little wild here. I'm just going to switch the banner to make sure. Looks like I never switched off the banner from last time. There we go. Okay, let's get into this. Debating Kamala. As we got closer to the official coronation of Kamala Harris being crowned as the DNC's hand-picked presidential nominee, questions mounted about a future debate with President Trump. In the early days of August, President Trump veered away from a potential debate hosted by ABC. He gave his reasons why and presented a counteroffer. Trump offered to debate Kamala Harris on Wednesday, September 4, 2024, with Fox News moderators. Never for a second did I believe Harris would accept a debate with Trump moderated by Fox News. Trump made his case for a Fox News debate in a Truth Social post on August 2nd. I am in litigation against ABC Network and George Slopadopoulos, thereby creating a conflict of interest, wrote Trump. The Fox News debate will be held in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania at a site in an area to be determined. The moderators of the debate will be Bret Baier and Martha MacCallum. And the rules will be similar to the rules of my debate with Sleepy Joe, who has been treated horribly by his party, but with a full arena audience. That's right, an arena audience. Trump chastised the Democratic Party for forcing Biden out of the race and replacing him with someone who didn't get a single vote in the primaries. This has never been done before, Trump continued, and is a threat to democracy. I spent hundreds of millions of dollars, time, and effort fighting Joe, and when I won the debate, they threw a new candidate into the ring. Trump stated Biden and Harris have the same agenda and looks forward to exposing their bad policies during the debate, should Harris accept. A few days later, Trump claimed Harris was afraid to debate him on Fox News. She will be easier to defeat on the debate stage than crooked Joe Biden. Just watch. On August 18, 2024, Trump was informed that Kamala officially declined the Fox News debate offer. I was not surprised, and neither was Trump. I'm not surprised by this development because I feel that she knows it is very difficult at best for her to defend her record-setting flip-flopping on absolutely everything she once believed in, including her statements that there will be no fracking in Pennsylvania and her horrible performance on the border. It seemed like a debate between Trump and Kamala would never happen, especially with the news organization who was fair towards Trump. I was shocked when Kamala eventually agreed to debate President Trump a month later. Once again, this debate was hosted by a news organization hostile towards Trump and in love with Kamala. The media attacks continued to ramp up against President Trump with the same old tired lies we've been hearing since 2020. At the same time, the DNC machine and the mainstream media were working in tandem to smear Kennedy and challenge his participation in the 2024 presidential election. Kennedy wasn't going to stand by and let the media continue to attack him without responding. Kennedy wrote a nice little letter to the mainstream media on Twitter, ending with this warning: "The more you smear me, the more I will keep speaking. When they call Kennedy a vaccine crank, he will remind them of the vaccine industry's well-documented track record of putting profits before people, an industry with unreliable regulatory oversight, an industry which is one of the most powerful entities in the world." Kennedy labeled the mainstream media as a red herring machine, the defamation industrial complex, the arbiter of the social lie. Good stuff there. Whew. All right. The same media seized on every opportunity to degrade Trump and praise Harris. If Kamala has 1,000 people at a rally, the press goes crazy and talks about how big it was, wrote Trump. And she pays for her crowd. When I have a rally and 100,000 people show up, the fake news doesn't talk about it. They refuse to mention crowd size. The fake news is the enemy of the people. Absolutely it is. Absolutely. Totally biased. But out of that, because they were so biased, the lamestream legacy media was so biased, now it has created this opportunity for the real media to step in. What once was called the alternative media should now really be called the real media, the truth media. Whatever you want to call it. We know what it is when we see it. It's easy to see why Kennedy is often referred to as the last Democrat. I feel the same way. A common question the media asks Kennedy is why he left the Democratic Party. The simple answer is the party abandoned him. While running for president of the United States as a Democrat, Kennedy watched his party change the rules, making it almost impossible for him to run against Joe Biden. According to Kennedy, the DNC created, quote, 60 different rule changes that were all designed to keep me from winning the nomination. Once denied Secret Service protection, Kennedy began to wonder who was making decisions for Joe Biden. That made me think President Biden's not making these calls, said Kennedy. This was not the same Biden Kennedy knew for the past 40 years. Kennedy thought Biden was a decent man who would do the gracious thing, but he was wrong. Kennedy was always willing to talk to any candidate in this race. Kennedy's goal is to bridge the divide in this country, and I've seen the fruits of his labor over the last 2 years. Kennedy's approach is simple. I'm not going to vilify them. I'm not going to name call them. I'm not going to talk about private or personal issues. I'm going to criticize President Trump on his policy choices, and I do that all day. Kennedy treated Biden and Kamala Harris the same. Team Kennedy joins Team Trump. This is a moment here, a moment in time that I relish in, that I love going back to, love talking about. And I'm glad the book ended this way, because if it didn't, I don't know. I don't know if I would enjoy it so much. And I am enjoying rereading it and going back through it for historical purposes, not saying anything about my writing skills or lack thereof, but I do enjoy writing. I do have fun with it. And it's very hard to read your own stuff, hopefully. For some people, for me, I'll speak for myself. Team Kennedy joins Team Trump. It began with Nicole Shanahan, Kennedy's vice presidential nominee, hinting about a possible end to their presidential run. During her August 20th interview on the Impact Theory show, Shanahan blamed the Clear Choice PAC for turning Kennedy's presidential campaign into a spoiler choice for the 2024 presidential election. Shanahan was on the front line as the Clear Choice PAC and the DNC spent millions of dollars attacking the Kennedy campaign, essentially turning Kennedy into a spoiler candidate. We don't want to be a spoiler, said Shanahan. We wanted to win. We wanted a fair shot. The DNC made that impossible for us. They have banned us, shadow banned us, kept us off stages. They manipulated polls, used lawfare against us, sued us in every possible state. They've even planted insiders into our campaign to disrupt it and to create actual legal issues for us. The extent by which the sabotage they've unleashed upon us, it's mind-blowing. Kennedy and Shanahan had to make a tough choice. Another typo right there. Where are we at here? Page 125. I have to note that. I will note that for later. Okay. And it is a tough choice to make. They had a tough choice to make, or they had to make a tough choice. Yeah, had to make a tough choice. I could see I was trying to decide between these two sentences and mixed them up. All right, we'll go with it for now. But I do believe that she makes a great point, and I do also believe that there are people within the Trump administration right now who are actively trying to sabotage his second term. I think we've seen some hints of that, some evidence of that too. So let's keep reading on. Shanahan didn't gloss over past mistakes made by Trump, like taking $1 million from Pfizer and then recruiting Pfizer cronies in his first term. But she was open to the possibility that things would be different the second time around. Shanahan was encouraged by what she was hearing from the Trump camp. We are hearing that Trump wants to distance himself from Big Pharma. Trump recognized he fell prey to the pressures in Washington to capitulate to the lockdowns, and then the needed bailouts. His record was reasonable prior to those massive mistakes in 2020. I was surprised when Shanahan said she was open to creating a unity party with Team Trump, with the Trump team. I think that's something that we absolutely owe to the American people to explore. I was heartbroken to think that Kennedy would do the one thing I prayed he would not do: drop out of the race. Shanahan didn't close a door to a possible Kennedy victory, but you could hear it in her voice, the sound of defeat. I still would love to see in the last 80 days of this election some miracle play out where we get a chance to debate, Shanahan continued. I don't think they're going to let us. Given this, we are taking a very serious look at making sure that the people that have corrupted our fair and free democracy do not end up in office in November. I think page 117. So that should be page one. I'm still on page 125. A and then 80. Because I think the 80 days. This is supposed to be the numbers, numerical. I believe it is. Shortly after Shanahan's interview aired, a reporter asked President Trump to comment on the possibility Kennedy would endorse him and if Trump would consider Kennedy for a role in his administration. I would love that endorsement, President Trump responded, because I've always liked him. Would you also consider putting him in the administration? The reporter asked. Trump hesitated for a split second before answering. You're asking me a very unusual question. I haven't been asked that question yet. I like him a lot. I respect him a lot. I probably would if something like that would happen. He's a very different kind of guy, a very smart guy. I don't know. I didn't know he was thinking about getting out, but if he is thinking about getting out, certainly I'd be open to it. Shanahan stirred up a lot of questions in the pre recorded interview on the Impact Theory show. On the same day Trump was asked to comment on the possibility of Kennedy dropping out, Shanahan was live on Fox News, continuing to explore. Oh, there's another one. Gotta take out the page 126. Take out the. Continuing to explore all options for the future of Maha. This idea of a unity party, Shanahan said on Fox News, an idea of us coming around these principles of fighting for liberty in this country, fighting for our children's health. We have the worst chronic health crisis in the world right now. Over 50% of children are diagnosed with some chronic disease. This is unconscionable. We are willing to work with anyone who is sincere in their endeavor to fix and address this issue. Now, a big part of the Unity Party is to get someone as the director of HHS, Health and Human Services, that we can trust. Someone who won't sell out to the superpowers. Someone who has been defending children's health for years. I'm also going to change that HHS. Some people may not know what HHS is, so I'm going to change where it says Director of HHS. We're going to make that Director of Health and Human Services. Easy peasy. Between August 20th and 23rd, rumors of Kennedy dropping out of the presidential race spread across all major news outlets. I hoped for the best, but prepared myself for the worst. I never believed Kennedy would drop out of the race so late in the game, and I never expected him to endorse President Trump. During that time period, Trump evaded the issue as much as he could, but it didn't last long. On August 21st, Trump said he couldn't confirm the rumors. He would be honored by the endorsement and said he'd respected Kennedy for a long time. He's going to be in Arizona on Friday, the interviewer said to Trump. Would you have him on the stage at your rally? Well, I think I'm going to be there on Friday, Trump responded. We have a big crowd. I would always be honored to. I mean, if he endorses me, would I be honored by that? Absolutely. Trump wasn't taking the bait. But knowing both men were scheduled to be in the same state on the same day was the first time I began to believe the impossible. The next day, August 22nd, during a phone interview with Fox and Friends, Trump was asked about the big announcement Kennedy was set to make on August 23rd. Trump skirted around the question again. Trump said Kennedy's heart was in the right place. He was a respected man. Women loved his policies, and the Democrats treated Kennedy the same way they would later treat Joe Biden. Trump believed Kennedy would have beaten Biden in the primary if he was allowed to participate. I agree. And that's where I'm going to end this one here, because got a lot of things to do today, but I did want to get there. We have finally now made it to page 119 in the physical book. We found 2 errors today that will be quickly corrected. And this is another reason why I want to get through this book, read through this book as much as I can. Doing it this way helps me find those final errors. So hopefully helps me find the final errors there and ask some questions too. But it has been a great journey. Hope you all have a great day, and I will see you all later. God bless. Remember, Jesus Christ loves you, my friends, and so do I. Bye for now.